Hey everyone, how's it going? My name's Ryan. I am going to teach you how to fly the Boeing 737-800 in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. A couple disclaimers. Well, one, this video is strictly was strictly for my roommate. It was supposed to be, and I'm like, you know what, might as well make a YouTube video on it because I'm sure there's a bunch of other people out there that want to learn the same thing. So, and plus I have the YouTube channel and everything that I barely post to. So, yeah. In addition to that, I'm gonna try maybe start posting more to here. I got to see as far as content goes, what I want to do. I still have to decide on that. But like I said, this is going to be strictly how to fly the Boeing 737. Again, another disclaimer: I am not a 737 pilot, so everything that I do is just everything that I've learned. So if you have any comments, feel free to share with me. But this is just what's worked for me and how I fly it, and what has always worked for me for the past, geez, probably how long have I been simming? Probably about almost 10 years now. Just coming up on 10 years, yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at. So I am going to teach you again just from scratch. This is the cold and dark setting. And I am not going to be using any like GSX or anything like that. I'm just gonna, you can see here, I actually have the stairs connected. I haven't even opened up the FMC or anything yet. So it's just going to be from scratch, cold and dark setting, strictly how to fly it. Holy lag, that was crazy. I don't know why that's happening. Yeah, quick little lag spike. Anyways, so we'll start from scratch here. So starting at the top panel here, this is where you're going to do a majority of your work. So we're going to turn on our battery switch here. This is what's going to start giving us power to the plane. You'll hear it turn on. And excuse me if the audio isn't super loud. I'm still trying to get a happy medium so you could hear my voice as well as the game audio. So hopefully it's pretty good for you guys. Next thing we're going to do is come down here, and this is just again how I flow through it. I'm going to turn the emergency exit lights to armed, and then I'm going to come down here, and I am going to do the left aft fuel pump on. And again, I'm not really going to explain each individual thing. This is just strictly on how I do it and how I go through it, just to get you through your first flight. So that goes on. I come down here, I turn my logo light on. My position light should be set to steady, and which it is. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to turn my bleed on. This right here will go, the isolation valve is going to go to auto. PACs will turn those on, and that's it before I go up top. The next thing I want to do, now that my battery is on, is come down here to my FMC, and I get rid of the yoke. Zoom in here on FS actions, and again, I'm not using any type of GSX or anything like that. We're going to request our ground power through FS actions. So this is what's ultimately going to give us the starting power and what we need, or the starting power. Not starting power, that's more for the APU and the engines, but ground power is what it is, the GPU. So you'll see that we had a lot more happen up here. We have air conditioning going, we could hear a lot more things happening, everything like that. So, continuing on here, I left off on the air conditioning panel. So I got my PACs on, recircs, all that stuff like that. And all this stuff, again, should look exactly like mine. We'll come up here to our window heats, and we're going to turn these 4 on. This right here is a test right here, so you're not going to mess with that unless you're testing. And then I will come up here, this is very important, to the IRS panels. And I will turn those both into the navigation mode. And I will show you what exactly that looks like. Ooh, right there. So they should both say align and align as they're going in navigation mode now. And then that's pretty much it for the top panel for now. Let's go ahead and move down to our FMC again. Dog is going to town on her paws right now. We're going to press menu to get out of that FS actions menu. FMC. My nav data is slightly out of date. And it will prompt us here with enter IRS position. So we could clear that message out if we'd like to. Go to pause init, our reference airport. So we are at St. Louis right now. So this is the Kilo Sierra Tango Lima Airport. And I should say I'm also on VATSIM, so we'll hear a little bit of that, which will be fun, just to add a bit more immersion. So I'm going to type in my reference airport here, Kilo Sierra Tango Lima. And my next page that I will go to, so I'm on this page, I will press next page, and I will take GPS left, or GPS L right there, and go to previous page, and put that in the IRS position. Now you will see that this is no longer blank. You actually have a radar, or like your display here, and a bunch of other things will have showed up now as well. You can see that both screens are actually working now. So that means you're doing it right. You're on the right track. Bear in mind to this that if you ever, I believe in your PMDG settings it is, actually let me double check for you guys. Stay on this page, you don't follow what I'm doing right now. I think there should be something in here for IRS. Potentially. Aircraft. Equipment. I believe there's something in here for IRS. I'm not exactly sure where it is. But basically, the IRS takes, I think there's a short option, a long option, or a realistic option. I'm not sure if they have that in FS 2020. But just so you know, if this is taking longer than normal to align, that's probably the reason for it, and there's an option to fix that, to my understanding. So the next thing we'll do is we'll click on the route, and we will put, it'll be automatically populated for us here. We'll put that in the origin, because that's our origin airport. We're at St. Louis, and we are going to Nashville today, Kilo Bravo November Alpha. Our flight number today is Southwest 3422. So I'll do SWA 3422. And per the ATIS, which I will tune here momentarily, I've already tuned it prior to this video, but they are departing off a 12 left. So before I do any of that, let me go down here to our radio panel. This is how you tune frequencies and everything like that. And I will tune ATIS, which is on 125.025.
To air mission. Due caution for personnel and equip adjacent to runways and taxiways. Runway 12 right closed. Advise on initial contact. You have information Kilo. Lambert Airport ATIS information Kilo. 2251 Zulu. 1030 at 10 gust 18. Visibility 10. Few clouds at 4,800. Temperature 26. 2.13. Altimeter 2998. Visual approach runway 12 left. 11 in use. Departing runway 12 left. Notices to air position. Use caution for personnel and equip adjacent.
Alrighty, so ATIS Kilo is currently, we have wind 03010, gust to 18, visibility is 10, few at 4,800. Temperature 26, dew point 13, altimeter 2998. And the departure runway today is 12 left. I believe 12 right 30 is closed by NOTAM, if I'm correct. And let me double check that. But that would probably be the reason, yeah. So 12 right 30 left is closed by NOTAM right now. So that would probably be the reason why we're going off of 12 left on the other side. So, alright, so now the next thing I'm going to want to do, and this is if you're flying in VATSIM or using weather, real-world weather in your simulator, I am going to tune my altimeter in here. So you'll notice you have your little standby right here, and then you also have your main display right here, which also has the altimeter. I always go through here first because I believe, oh, you know what? No, they changed it. Awesome. So you could go either way. You could either tune here or tune up here. And it'll actually change both. So there we go. I'm going to 29908, and our altimeter is now set. I already received my pre-departure clearance via text from Kansas City Center. That's who's online right now, so I am going to go ahead and work with that. So I have a transponder code of 7404. So my transponder code comes down here, where these 4 numbers are, and I will put in 7404. Perfect. And then we will mess with this a little bit later when we go to take off. Or start taxiing, excuse me. Alright, so now I have my route. My route is going to be the Druze 5 departure. And pull it up before I start talking about it. That would be smart, wouldn't it? So via the Druze 5 departure, Denny transition. And then I'm going on to Juliet 45, direct to Tings, Rance, and the Ryman 2 arrival in Nashville. So I am going to input that route now. I might do a separate video on how to read charts and everything like that. We'll see, again, as far as content-wise, on what I decide. But let's continue on here. So departure, again, we're on the Druze 5 departure, Denny transition, and we are going off of 1-2 left. So now you will see, okay, it's starting to draw a route here. Perfect. So we'll press route next. I'll go to the next page, and you'll see it has our route now. Druze 5, Denny transition. So I'm going to put the remainder of my route in. So I said Juliet 45. So now, one thing that kind of gets people on this part is sometimes they'll try to put it on the right side. You'll see it'll say not in database. Well, it is in the database, you're just putting it on the wrong side. So if you have that error right there, try to clear it, and it'll show up again, and make sure you're putting that on your left-hand side, and it'll say then right here. And I'm going direct to Tings, which is Tango India November Golf Sierra. Direct to Rance, so you'll notice that I'm putting all this stuff on the right-hand side now because they're just the 5-letter fixes. And then the Ryman 2 arrival into Nashville. Now the Ryman 2 has several different transitions for runways, so I am going to look ahead here on kind of what runway I could kind of guess we're going to get. We can change that in route, of course. It looks like they're landing for the best wind right now, runway 2 center. So I will do Ryman 2 and runway 2 transition. And we're transitioning onto this from Rance, right there. And I'm just going to select ILS 2 center. That could very well change while we're en route, of course, but that's what we're putting for now. Alright, so now you're going to be faced with this. Activate, and this is important. Make sure you press execute. You'll see this white light right here. Anytime you see that white light, make sure you're always pressing execute. Very important. Next, we're going to our perf initialization page. Our 0 fuel weight right here. It'll actually automatically fill for you. Just click it once, and click it a second time, right there. Our reserves, so I'm going to be taking 3 for reserves. Our cost index, which is 45. And, oh, you know what? Let me do actually one thing, real quick. See, I even get far ahead of myself as much as I fly this thing. One thing you're going to want to do is make sure and you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but you always want to make sure you have enough fuel. You could set the max fuel if you want, but just bear in mind there's some weight restrictions with that. So you go to FS Actions, and you go to Fuel, and that's how you could load on fuel. So make sure before you do your weights, and I'll show you again, explain it to you, that you do the fuel part first. It should be one of the first things you actually do. So I'm going to be taking 12,000 pounds of fuel today. Set that, return. Let's go back to our initialization page. So you'll notice that stayed the same. Our ground weight did change a little bit. Our reserves are still the same. Our cost index is still the same. So let's continue on here. So it's suggesting flight level 289. Obviously for our direction of flight and IFR altitudes, we have to be at an odd altitude. So I'm actually going to go up to 330. Let's see if we do that. So if it likes it, it won't say anything actually. If it doesn't like that, it'll come up with a message here that says unable cruise out. So next thing, I'm going to go to N1 limit, Again, very important. Make sure you are just viewing this page and seeing all the different options. I'm not going to mess with it. This is the page where you could do your derated takeoffs, your bump thrust if you want to, if you're going out of midway, or set your climbs, everything like that. So I typically don't mess with this page too much, so I'm just going to leave it as so. My takeoff, I am going to do flaps 5. My center of gravity is 25.5, and my trim is 4.73. And now my V speeds. And there we go, V2 is 150, and before I go up, I'm going to go down here to the trim and make sure we're at about 4.73. So we're going to trim all the way down to about, say about 4.73 is right there. It doesn't have to be 100%. And next thing I like to do is I like to put V2 up here in the speed bug, just so I know what my V2 speed is. So 150 is my V2 speed. Next thing I'll do is I will go flight directors. There's one on the left here and the right. Turn that on. I will arm my auto throttle. I will change my auto brake to rejected takeoff, so that's if you ever pull back on your throttles after pressing toga, that your brakes will automatically engage. And I'm going to arm my vertical navigation as well as my lateral navigation. Now, bear in mind on the VATSIM network, and again, I'm going to possibly do a class on this, where you're reading departure plates and arrival plates and everything like that. But just bear in mind, sometimes you won't be using VNav climbing out, and you might not be using lateral navigation either. There's a bunch of different caveats to that. So again, moving on here, I have my initial altitude on the Druze 5 per the PDC is maintain 5,000, so I'm going to select that. Again, just a VATSIM thing. And there's that. The next thing I want to do here is come up here to our APU and start that. So make sure you put that one click to the on position and then hold your mouse button down for it to go in the start position. You'll see it start to power up right here. And this is what's ultimately going to get your engine started. You'll see the low oil pressure, or the low oil pressure light. Excellent. So we're going to wait for that to power up. In the meantime, while that's happening, I am going to turn my fuel pumps on. I'm going to turn my anti-collision light on. I'm going to turn my seatbelt sign on. And my hydraulics, I will turn those in the on position as well. And that's it for the overhead panel for now. And we'll have to come back to it eventually here. Another thing that you will notice is that, again, my VNav is armed, and something I should have mentioned as well. If your VNav, for whatever reason, you press it and it doesn't turn on, then you've messed up something in your FMC. So go back, check again, watch the video again, go back if you need to, and make sure that VNav is working, because that's very important as well. On the Druze 5 specifically, off of 1-2 left, the instructions state climb on heading 123 to 1120, so 1120, then direct to Hefner, cross Hefner at or above 2500, then on depicted route to Druze, thence transition, maintain 5000, expect filed 10 minutes after departure. So there is no specific headings we actually have to follow here, we just have to follow the route out, so there's that. Alrighty, perfect. So now at this point in time, our APU should be ready to go. You'll see this will actually is illuminated now, meaning that our generator is not, or it's off the bus, you can see right there. So to put it on the APU, because right now you're on ground power, but remember, you're going to turn this on, and you're going to turn that on, and you'll see it'll extinguish itself. Alright, continuing on. I am going to make sure my parking brake is set before I move my wheel chocks. To be honest with you, your parking brake should be set to begin with. And I am going to go to my menu, FSX actions, ground services, and if I press remove here, everything will disappear. And you'll see actually this will start to go away. I know that looks weird with the jetway and everything, but again, I'm not messing with all that stuff right now. Alrighty, fantastic. So let's go to return here. Let's press menu, and we're going to go to FMC and legs. And this has all your fixes on it now with all the crossing restrictions, the speeds, everything like that you're expected to do. Alrighty, continuing on. So again, like I said, I'm not going to use GSX. I'm going to use the PMDG pushback. Let's hope for the best with that one because I've never really used that one. But I have a general idea of how it works. Let me just make sure. Well, let's tune Kansas City Center here first, just to make sure we're all good. We do not have to request pushback. Let me double check. I'm not going to push onto an active taxiway. I'll go on the outside view and look. But Kansas City Center is on a 125.725. There we go. Alrighty. So continuing on, I am going to now just double check behind me. This is really frustrating. Usually I have this camera thing set in my other window on my second monitor, but for whatever reason I need to figure out with OBS, my screen recording software, on why it wants to record that window and not the flight sim. Long story short. So I am, whoa, a little laggy here. It's gotta be a screen recorder. So there's Charlie back there. Just to play it safe, I'm gonna request pushback onto Charlie. I'm not sure how far it's gonna push me back, so just to play it safe and to follow the rules, I am going to request a pushback onto Charlie since that is technically an active taxiway. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm gonna get rid of this. And we have a disinformation kilo on board. We're south 3422. Kansas City Center Southwest 3422 with kilo. We'd like to push on to Charlie.
Had a couple calling at once. Southwest 20, Southwest 3422. Engine start and pushback is approved. Advise ready for taxi.
Alright, push start approval. Call for taxi South 3422. Perfect.
Citation 845, Papa Foxtrot, runway 1 right, taxi via, is a Foxtrot Mike 7, will that work for you?
Alrighty, so now we're going to go over here to our...
Citation 5, Papa Foxtrot, the Wichita altimeter 293.
Turn that down just a little bit. That should be a little better. Now you should be able to hear me talk. I had to mess with the settings there. I didn't know how loud that was. It looked like it was pretty loud though. So we're going to go here, menu, FSX actions, and remember I've removed everything at this point. I'm going to go to pushback, and I am just going to do... Can I do... Let's see what my options. Standard, left, dot the I. I'm going to do straight out. That's easiest because I don't friggin' know what this thing's going to do. There's a self-drive option. Oh, God, you don't want me driving that. Alright, so I'm going to go to start here. You'll hear all this. Bear in mind, if you do not have your parking brake set, it will say set parking brake. So make sure you do have that set. So I'm going to release the brakes. That is a button on my joystick.
Delta 523, Kansas City Center.
If you wouldn't mind, could you resend PDC? I got disconnected and it got deleted.
Delta 523, register.
And we're going to want to make sure we are in the mode C mode. So we're going to go to TA only for now. So we don't need resolution advisories. At least I hope not. Not yet. Alright, so you'll see now we're pushing back. So perfect. So this is where things start to happen pretty quickly. So you will go to put your packs in the off position. This is important because you'll see actually, if I go to start my engines with the packs on.
Via, let me see where you're at there.
they're not going to start. You'll see nothing's happening. You're like, well, wait, why won't my engine start, you know? So to get rid of that from happening, oop, too much. Pack and pack. Make sure they are both in the off position and turn this to the left to the ground position. And now you'll see the spin up right here. You're going to wait for that to hit to 25.
And Citation 845, Papa Foxtrot, you'll be ready at the end. You need a few minutes.
Here, a nice engine start up here.
Citation 845, Papa Foxtrot.
23, 24, and put this in the up position. That's the number 2 engine. And now, again, like I said, everything's happening really quickly. Set your parking brake as requested by the pushback cart.
Frontier Flight 1204.
You'll see this engine start spinning up.
Chicago Center is presently offline. Radar is now terminated. Frequency change to advisories approved.
Oh, this is landed law. It's 1204. It's the gorgeous.
Take care.
And there we go. Once that hits 55, this will extinguish itself automatically. You don't even have to touch it. There you go. You see it clicked back. So that's how you know you did it right. Same thing with the left side, the number 1 engine. We'll see it start spinning up here. "17, 18, 19, 24, and 25. And there we go. And while that's happening at the same time, while we're watching that spin up, I like to do flaps 5, so that is 3 clicks for flaps 5. And those will give our departure flap set. Remember, as referenced in the actual takeoff, flaps 5 right here is what I have set. Cool, cool. That engine is started, as you just heard by the click, and now you can see. So now, we come up here. You'll see these are glowing, and they have been glowing, but now what you want to do to be able to turn the APU off is you want to turn this on and this on right here. And then this will start glowing, indicating that it's no longer on the APU bus. And you could turn that in the off position now, the APU, since you no longer need it because you're running strictly off the engine power. And then after you turn the APU off, you're going to want to come up here, turn your bleed off, turn your packs in the on position, turn your probe window heat both on, and your yaw damper in the on position. And then I also like to modify this right here to 33,000, because that's what we'll be cruising at, right? Excellent. Alright, so we're about ready to taxi here, so I'm going to turn my taxi lights on. I like to go with the runway turnoffs and the taxi lights on just because it gives me the most light. Some people just like, oh, I'm sure someone will comment, just turn the taxi light on, but I like personally having everything on right there, so that's up to you. And we are going to request our taxi here. And again, 1-2 left is on the other side, so should be a fun taxi. Let's request it. I need to change my hotkey as well. Because it...
845 Papa Foxtrot, clear direct Tyler, climb and maintain.
You can see every single time I hit my push to talk, it goes to the right. That's just something I'm lazy about, but... Alright, let's get a taxi. Center Southwest 3422 taxi.
Southwest 3422, runway 12 left, taxi via, I think it looks like you're at Delta 3, taxi via Delta 3, Delta, Sierra, runway 12 right, information Lima is current.
Okay. Alright, Delta, or sorry, 12 left, Delta 3, Delta, and Sierra cross 12 right. I think it was at Sierra, Southwest 3422.
Let me see here, Southwest 3422, Sierra cross runway 12 right, and information Lima is current.
Roger, we'll pick up Lima on the way and copy Southwest 3422, thanks. Alrighty, So I guess I had to make sure because he cut out there. But it's 12 left via Delta 3, Delta, and Sierra across 12 right at Sierra. So we will go ahead and do that. Delta 3 is going to be directly behind us, so I am going to go ahead and taxi our plane. I will take my parking brake off. And let's start a slow taxi here. I think it makes the most sense to make a right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that.
Southwest 2262, runway 12 left, taxi via Charlie Sierra, cross runway 12 right, information Lima is current.
That should be Delta 3 right there. We're going to break the law a little bit here and not follow the taxi line, but don't tell anyone.
I don't have anything on file for you. I don't know where you're located.
So this first one is Charlie. We're going to want to go on Delta. So let's join Delta over here. You can see on the ground there, Delta.
Citation 845 Papa Foxtrot, climb and maintain flight level 4 tree.
So that's Delta 3. I'm making a left onto Delta. And we will follow this all the way down until, looks like Sierra. We'll make a right onto Sierra and cross 12 right at Sierra. And let's get a little bit of a Southwest taxi going here. We want to get out of here, right? I think 31 knots is sufficient, right? See other planes. I don't have the whatchamacallit, the livery packs or whatever they call them now, installed on vPilot here. Should really do that. I just recently switched to FS 2020, like, geez, coming up on 2 months ago now. So I was never using it. So my sim's pretty. Just started getting scenery for it and everything like that.
Delta 63, wind 040 at 10, RNF Hefner, runway 12 left, cleared for takeoff.
RNF Hefner, 12 left, cleared for takeoff, Delta 63.
Just going to continue all the way down to Sierra. It's coming up here shortly. And this is going to be taxiway Sierra right here. We're going to want to slow down because it looks like the ground's wet, I think. I don't think it rained, but... or is that not wet? I don't know. It looks like it's wet. So let's cross 12 right at Sierra. Excuse that turn. Holy cow. I forgot with my my joystick, if you go full, it just might be me being me, but with my joystick, if I go full right with it, it doesn't do that sharp of a turn. I can't do that all the way. We're all learning something, aren't we? So we crossed 12 right, and then 12 left will be right ahead here. Just something I like doing. I come up here to my overhead panel and hitting a 10 twice, just to...
3422, 040 at 10, RNF Hefner, runway 12 left, cleared for takeoff.
RNF Hefner, runway 12 left, clear for takeoff, South 3422. Alright, and we've been issued our takeoff clearance, so real quick here, we'll landing lights on. Those are all on, I keep those on. Strobe light will be in the up position here, that's how you know the strobe's on. And wing light on. And flight attendants have been made aware. So we'll go RNAV Hefner, which is the first fix. I also like to click here, this left button right here. That'll start timing our flight. Lining up on 1-2 left. And this part is very important. Make sure you pay attention to this. Let's give throttle 60%, and I am going to go to toga, and make sure you press this black button right there, and that togas your thrust. So next part, just maintain your center line. There's 80 knots. And you'll see the green right there, that is our V1 speed, and that's when we'll start rotating right around there. V1, rotate. So let's start a slow rotation. Positive rate of climb. Gears coming up. I just press G with that. Excellent. And nice little climb out of here.
Delta 5, 23, runway 12 left, taxi.
He just got the Old Spice thing. Alright, I'm going to start getting rid of my flaps here. Actually, just get rid of all of them because we're speeding up real quick.
Southwest 3422, radar contact, climb and maintain 15,000, say altitude living.
15,000, 2,100, South 3422. Alright, so he gave us climb to 15,000. Bear in mind I'm still hand flying here, but I am going to select 15,000 here. So there's 15,000, and this is up to you if you want to continue hand flying for a little bit, or you could alternatively turn your autopilot on. To engage your autopilot, which I'm going to do right now, I'm going to click this button right here, and you'll see it'll start flying itself actually. I'm slightly to the left of the course potentially here, so that's why it's correcting. Just triple check that. Oh, you know what? Nope, that's what happened. We did not have our LNAV engaged there. So just make sure you have your your LNAV engaged, and that's kind of what happened there. I did not. I 100% engaged it on the ground, but it must have. Maybe it turned off. So that would have been my fault right there.
RNAV Hefner, runway 12 left, cleared for takeoff.
So you can see not everything always goes perfect, but you got to make sure this is all set, especially on VATSIM. You don't want to take anyone off. So we're correcting here now, though.
You're now leaving my airspace to the west. The Denver Center is currently offline tonight. Radar's now terminated. Frequency change to advisories approved.
And as I'm climbing out, I like to start cleaning things up here. So I'll turn that to off. I'll put my landing gear in the off position. And as I'm passing through 10,000, I will turn my lights in the off position. A few of the lights, not all the lights. You still want to be seen, but a good chunk of the lights. So you can see there though with the LNAV, you got to make sure that's enabled when you are using it. That is. And hopefully Memphis stays on, so we could have the immersion of him as well. So we're passing through 10,000 now, so I am going to put my landing lights in the off position. I'll turn these lights off as well, and my logo light, I will put them in the off position. Excuse me.
Delta 5 at 23, wind 0 at 10. Arnav Hefner, runway 12 left, cleared for takeoff.
12 left, cleared for takeoff. Delta 523.
Southwest 2262, radar contact, climb and maintain 15,000, stay altitude leaving.
So right now I'm just sitting back, letting the plane fly itself. I'm going through 11,000 right now. In the event, trying to think of things for you guys.
3300 information.
In the event the controller gives you a stop at a climb and you're in VNAV mode, there's a couple different things you could do, but the most quick thing you could do here is just, let's say you stopped me at 13,000, I could just lower this to 13,000 and it'll level me off there. Just after you level off, just make sure you, sometime, I believe the VNAV will disable, and if that's what happens, then make sure you just enable it.
Southwest 3422, climb and maintain, flight level 330.
Flight level 330, Southwest 3422. Alrighty. So he has given us climb to cruise, so I'm going to change this to 33,000. Like so. And while I'm doing that, I could talk to you about level change as well. So let's say the controller gives you a specific climb, meaning he wants you to climb out at 280 knots, or he wants you to climb out at a faster speed, or whatever. You could put it in level change mode, and I will show you very quickly what it does. It's going to probably flip out, but oh no, we're good. So I'm in level change mode at this point, which is this button right here. And I can adjust my speed, and the vertical navigation is not managing it now. I have control of the speed right here, and same thing with the altitude. So I'm going to put VNAV back on.
I maintain 15,000, we're passing 2,800 for Delta 523.
Alrighty, so now we are going to just climb up to cruise. I'm not going to show the cruise portion of it really, because there's not much you really do in cruise. And then right before we start our descent, I will come back.
Southwest of 2262, climb and maintain, flight level 360.
Another important note here for you guys that I forgot to actually include. So when you are passing through flight level 180, which is where the flight levels start in the United States specifically, Europe and UK and Australia, all those places are all very different, and I don't know about those. But speaking on the US part, the flight levels start at 180. So once you cross through flight level 180, you come up here to standard, which is right here, STD, and you click it. And you'll see now this says STD, which is this green lettering right here, and now you're in standard. And once you are starting your descent and you pass through 18,000, if you're either on VATSIM or when you get below 18,000 and you're flying on real weather, then you could set the altimeter below 18,000. So if you're flying on the VATSIM network, you'll hear them either give you a pilot's discretion or a descend via, depending on what the arrival is. But typically in a descend via clearance, they'll give you a altimeter reading, and that's when you could set it. So, and that's it. I think I hit everything up until cruise. So I will check back with you guys at descent.
37 or 39.
Alrighty, so we just got switched over to Memphis Center here. A few things that I could go over with you guys that I thought of here. So if you're ever, for whatever reason, if you want to modify your speeds in cruise, right now you could see that, well, there's cruise right there. Let me see. There's climb. That's the climb page. So if you want to modify your climb speed or anything like that, just put in whatever number you want. That's just a random number, but you could put it right there. And then if you want to modify your cruise speed, which will be in Mach, then you will do the Mach number you want to be. So like if I want to do Mach 0.81 for an example, then I would change it to Mach 0.81 and place it right there. Same thing with modifying my cruise altitude with VNav. If I want to go, let's say I want to go to flight level 370 for whatever reason, I would type in 370 and place it right there. And then I would press execute. However, I'm not going to do that, so I'm going to erase it. Excellent. And if you want to see how far you are till your top of descent, you could come here to the descent page. My top of descent is in 30 miles. I'm pretty much going up and down. And that is that. As far as everything else goes, when you're planning your approach here into Memphis, I'm assuming I'm going to get 2 center. I did get the ATIS. Charlie is current at Memphis, or sorry, at Nashville, excuse me, not Memphis. So Charlie's current at Nashville. So to get to this page, as I just did right here, I go to initref, and it should automatically bring you to the approach ref page. If it doesn't, and you get to this page for whatever reason, just press approach, and it'll bring you to this page. So I am going to land with flaps 30, 149. I'm doing this kind of early, but that's all for the purpose of showing you guys. So I'll place that there. You could land with flaps 40, flaps 15 usually doesn't happen, but I usually stick in between 30 and 40. 30 usually, depending on the runway length.
Delta 3422, you can keep your climb going, but when you're ready, you can descend via the run to arrival.
So you could tell I went high.
North, National Altimeter 2985.
South 3422 will descend via the Ryman 2 arrival landing north, and 9075 Southwest 3422, or sorry, 9085 South 3422. So, as I was saying, now we have, and he's going to give me a visual approach as it's advertised in the ATIS, but I am still going to tune the ILS. It's still a good idea to do that. So you'll see here, you can get this off the arrival plate, or you could get it off your FMC, specifically in the 737. My arrival frequency is 110.75 for the ILS, or my ILS frequency, excuse me. So I will come down here. Don't put it here, because it won't go down to 110. Put it here. So you'll see active and standby. Make sure you go to standby here.
Just R1.
And put it in the active.
Just R401.
And same thing with this one. Do it on this side as well, both sides.
November, Mike 1.
And my course heading, which is 021. So I'll come up here to course and tune 021.
Delta 123, cross blues and maintain level 280.
So that's all programmed. So now my ILS is fully programmed. So when I get closer, and I'll explain it to you guys when I get down there, all I gotta do is either press the localizer button right here if I'm not cleared for the approach and I just want to intercept the localizer, and once I'm cleared for the approach, I press the approach button. Let's say 99% of the times I end up pressing the approach button anyways, but just bear in mind if you're not cleared to approach, you should not start descending on it. So that is that, and then I'm also going to set my minimums here, and that's going to be 200. To set your minimums, that's when the plane goes like approaching minimums, all that stuff like that. You come up here to this knob right here, and you turn it as so. I already have Barrow set to 200, so you have to do both. So Barrow should be set to 200, and then click this back knob right here. You're scrolling with the front knob. Click the back knob, and then it should change the radio right here, and change that to 200 as well, like so. You could either hold the mouse down and change it, or you could scroll. I find it much easier to hold the mouse down. So there's 200. Perfect. So then, like I said, we're pretty much going to be going up and down right away. So we didn't even make 33,000. So we are, you can see it doesn't want us to go all the way up there. So I am going to descend via the arrival, the Ryman 2, and they are landing north, so that is the 2s. So I am going to descend to 5,000. And that's what I'm going to set on my VNAV speed. You'll see here, I'm sorry, everything's happening really quickly, but my VNAV is now off because I'm technically not following profile anymore, so I'm going to press VNAV again to re-enable it. It'll start descending for me. You'll see the throttles will come back. And the number 5,000 that I got is the lowest point that you are supposed to go on the arrival. So unless he specifically tells me to do something else, then I am going to descend via the arrival, which is to 5,000. And the plane will actually track your descent profile for you. You'll see I'm actually 2,100 feet above because I started my descent late. So I'm going to go here, and I'm just going to pull my speed brake out. Just like so. So that should be good enough right there to get me back on profile. You'll see my vertical speed will increase a lot there as well. And I just want to make sure I'm right on profile. The way you know you're on profile is if this diamond right here is right in the middle. If it's up here and it has numbers, that means you're below on your profile. If you're down here, like I said earlier, it means you're high. And you can see the numbers counting down, so I'm starting to get back on path. You also have all your fixes here. Like I said earlier, it has all your restrictions, airspeeds, and everything like that. I typically like to compare it to the arrival chart because sometimes the 737 is a little weird and it doesn't program it properly. So right now I am going to Ryman, which I'm supposed to cross below flight level 190 but above 1000, so that's correct. And then the next point is Pecky or Peaky. And that is cross above 10,000, which is correct. Jono is the next, which is above 9,000, that's correct. And then Obate, which is below 12,000, but above 6,000, there we go. Jenkins, which is at or above 6,000. And then Cheesy, or Chesy, however you want to say it, which is, or excuse me, I'm sorry, Jenkins and then Wemar right here. And then Vector's the final approach course there. Sorry, I went a little bit off. So now you'll see right here that our profile is pretty much right on track again. So I could get rid of the speed brake because it is no longer required.
Star 401, Roger, wind 010 at 13, RNAV Jack.
So I'm supposed to cross Walmart at 5,210 knots, and that is programmed properly. So now, everything is on the plane, right? It's programmed properly, the VNAV is going to follow itself. I don't have to do anything other than tell the plane, hey, I want you to follow the profile and descend to 5,000, and that is the lowest point I want you to descend to. So the plane will do so. Now, in the meantime, while this is all happening, and again, like I said, everything happens really quickly, I want to get my runway length here at Nashville. So my runway length for 2 center is 8,000 feet. So I feel comfortable using auto brake too. So I'll go ahead and do so. I've already set my reference speed, my VREF speed, which is flaps 30, 149 knots. Right there.
1959, climb and maintain level 390.
Flight level 390,
And I also am going to start turning my lights on again. So I'm going to go landing lights, taxi lights.
Runway 2 left.
And he just gave me 2 left, so I'm going to request 2 center. South 3422, roger. Any chance for 2 center?
3422, expect 2 center.
South 3422, roger. Okay, so landing lights, runways, taxi, logos, all that stuff like that. And actually, I am going to turn my lights on a little brighter here, so this is a good thing that I can show you this, because it's starting to get a little dark out there. So just turn the circuit breakers up, the panel light, you'll see everything will start to kind of brighten up here. That's how you do that. To get all these lights on down here, you go your main panel, turn that up, your background, however bright you want that, your floods, and then the radio panel right here. It's hard to see, but right here around the corner, turn that up and that up as well. And then now you are chilling out. So everything is all set like it should now.
Alright, off frequency is approved. Just let me know when you're back.
So we're out of flight level 200. We are expecting 2 center. We're just waiting for further instruction at this point. I like to anticipate things as well, so like it says on the arrival chart here, so it says expect radar vectors to final approach course. So when I get to Wamar, as said, on the Ryman 2 arrival, I am going to depart Wamar on a heading of 200 degrees is what it'll put me on.
30, stay altitude.
And additionally, now we're starting to get into back out of the flight levels now. We're coming up on 18,000, or flight level 180. So again, per the ATIS, the altimeter is 2985, so I'm going to go ahead and set that as so with this knob right here. Scroll down to 2985. You could pre-do that before you take it out of standard mode. You can see right there it says 2985. And once below 18,000, that's when I change it out of standard mode. So I am out of 18,000 now at this point right now, so out of standard mode. And you'll actually notice if you do not take it out of standard mode, it will put a, I believe a box around it in standard mode. Yep, right there. So there's a yellow box that says, hey, you're supposed to be out of standard mode. That's kind of just your, saying to you like, hey, make sure you take it out. So cool. Let's give you some cool little wing views here while we're at it. This is really annoying that I have to do it this way, but let's go showcase, fixed camera. There we go. Look at that. Ain't that something? Got a couple different views for you. It's probably one of my personal favorite right here. Nice little view of the wing. That's awesome. There's a turn. So that right there is our turn onto... Hey guy, don't tell me. Let me figure it out. I got it in 4th flight here. Is our turn off of Ryman, and we're going to Peaky now, or Pecky. However you want to say it. And I am going to get back in the cockpit here because I'm starting to come out of 15,000 feet.
Delta 716, contact Atlanta Center 132.9 or 7. Atlanta Center 132.9 or 7, Delta 716, thanks for your service. See you.
So we're continuing our descent here. I don't know if you guys could hear my dog going to town on her bone, but she is. Actually, I just adopted her. Well, me and my roommate adopted her. I'm the official owner on the contract, but we just adopted her. Yeah, I'm talking about you. She looked up at me. Oh, man. He's a great dog. She's a fantastic dog. Alright, so we're coming up here on 10,000 here shortly. Another thing I like doing is just warning the flight attendants. Be like, hey, just so you know, we're 10,000 feet here. That's just an immersion thing I do. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. Oh, excuse me. Continue our descent all the way in. Hope this video will be very beneficial to everyone. I know there's a lot of people out there that are confused, and I believe you should be able to apply this video to other simulators as well. This is the PMDG, so if you're in P3D, and sorry, I had to think of that for a second, P3D, FSX, or FS 2020 is which I'm in right now, then that's the same exact aircraft. If you're in X-plane, I believe, I know the Zebo, I don't know, I think there's another one as well. You should be able to follow this video pretty much the same exact way. The only reason I say that, well, you might be asking yourself, well, it's a 737, why does it matter? Like, some developers make their 737s different, but I think it's pretty much cookie cutter of what it should be. So you should be able to follow along in FS20 or in X-plane as well. Just obviously the simulators, excuse me, a little different. And there's I don't think there's a pushback integrated in the Zebo as well. I think you have to have better pushback. So we have a message. You just saw the flashing right there, so let's go ahead and check it. It says drag required. So it is telling me right now, like, hey, I need a little bit of drag because I need to slow down here. So I will go ahead and do that. You'll see we're starting to get a little off profile. So let's just give a little bit of spoiler. Shouldn't be much at all. And it'll go right back on. Dakota, come here. Come say hi. Come say hi to the viewers. She's a great dog. She is a great dog. Hi. Hi, Dakota. Alright, now you'll see another message. It says unable 250 knots at Jenkins. So the reason it says that, because on the arrival at Jenkins, it has us maintaining 250 knots. We're pretty much right about that, so it's okay. I'm not gonna do much about that. But if I was in, you know, an event or something like that, then you'd want to try your best to make sure you're hitting that properly. But it's not too busy into Nashville here, so I'm not gonna really worry about it too much. So our beautiful Nashville scenery.
Delta 523 descend and maintain level 330.
On a 330, Delta 523.
And as prep right there, I need to, at the end of my point, if he doesn't vector me earlier, I'm going to depart Wamar. I'm definitely saying that wrong. Heading 200.
60, roger, 136 left. Taxi via Papa 2, Papa, November, and Mike 1.
And we could get rid of the speed brake now because it's no longer needed. And that should be pretty much it for speed brake. So next thing you do, and this is important as well, make sure you arm your speed brake. So right there you'll see it's in the up position. My speed brake is not deployed right now, but you need to arm it so that way when the wheels touch the ground, the speed brake comes out, and then you're slowing down that way as well. Another way you're slowing down. You'll see when it's not armed, look right here, the green light shows up. So when it's not armed, there's nothing there. When it is armed, green light's on. So there's that. Okay. Excuse me, I keep yawning, man. I'm having a pre-workout crash. You mean bad? Getting in the trash? I heard her going through the trash. She wouldn't go through it, but she was trying to. Alright, we're turning on our point now. Forgot how much fun it was to commentate while doing this. Hi, Dakota. Good dog. You'll hear that beeping right there. That'll indicate that we're within 1,000 feet of our point, of our set altitude here. Dakota, come here. She has been, like I said, she's still pretty brand new. So she's still kind of getting housebroken. So every single time I see her start sniffing my carpet, I gotta get her attention because I do not want her to pee. She's already peed like 6 or 7 times in here. We take her out very religiously too. It's every 2 hours. She just keeps messing around. She's pawing me right now. She's smart. She's a smart dog. She knows sit and shake already. It's only been 3 weeks. Couple weeks. Isn't that right? Yeah. Good dog. Oh, she sees.
American
Shake.
2372.
Shake. Good girl. Alright, so there's one more. I'm going to go heading select now because that's what we're supposed to depart it at. And we're maintaining 5,000 for now. Hopefully give us either a more of a descent or we're flying the whole approach. We'll see.
Couple of 3422, descend and maintain 4,000 and flight present heading.
Present heading 4,000, Southwest 3422. That's cool, right off to our left there. So now, alright, so now we're no longer going with VNAV. He gave us a specific clearance, so I am going to go present heading like I am right now, and I am going to use level change to descend to 4,000. My speed is 210 still.
Turn 30 degrees left, do a short vectors for space. I'll get you back direct tabs here in just a minute. 30 left for now, please.
30 degrees left, American 1969.
American 2292, you about to leave airspace. Indy Center is offline. You can change to Unicom. Have a good night.
And I am going to start introducing some flaps here shortly. Look at that. Oh, that's really cool. Wow. Nice. There's the airport off to our left right there.
American 19.
You said left, didn't you, for our American 19?
So I'm going to start throwing in some flaps here. Let's do that right there. And bear in mind when you start doing flaps, you'll start seeing the speed tape coming down because you could overspeed the flap, so make sure you're at a appropriate speed. If you're ever confused on what flaps you should be doing, I believe it's somewhere over here. Yeah, right here. Flaps, 250, 250, 250, 210, 15, 200, and all that stuff like that. So just make sure you're at your speed is appropriate, essentially. So he's still giving us a little downwind here. Should be turning inbound shortly.
22 radio check.
555 for American 1969.
Southwest. American 1969, how do you hear, sir?
I hear you. I turned to the right by mistake. You want me to go 60 degrees left?
American 1959, I need you to flying 360 now, please. 360 heading.
360 heading. My apologies for American 1959.
No problem. Southwest 3422, fly heading 100.
100 South 3422. Alright, so that's going to be our turn inbound, so 100 to the left. CLC is turning. Let me get a nice little view for you guys. Look at that.
18, 60, rising winds, 03,
Oh, he's got a puppy too.
RNAV Jax, runway at 36, center, 36 left, clear protect.
That's really cool. Alright, let's go back. There's my puppy. Right, Dakota? Right? Yeah.
Mexico 2372, contact Atlanta 132.907.
Sit. Shake. Good girl. Good girl. She wants my attention now. She doesn't know I'm trying to teach the world. I'm going to reduce my speed to 200 now. And then we're going to go flaps 5. Which I just used F7 to do. Come here. Don't think about it. I know what you're thinking. We're not going to do that, right? No. So he's going to give us a turn here, 30 degrees, to intercept the localizer here shortly.
Delta 523, contact Atlanta 132.907.
Is that for Delta 523?
Number 132.907.
3297, Delta 523, CN.
Hopefully he gives us a turn soon.
Memphis Center, Southwest 2538, spot 52 with information Delta ready to taxi.
Uh-oh. Looks like he might have forgotten about us. I hate to ask him, but...
Southwest 2538, spot 52, ready to taxi.
2538, roger, 192 right, taxi via Juliet.
yeah, he forgot about us.
Juliet Hotel to 2 right, 2538.
3422. It happens. It really, I do it all the time when I'm controlling, so.
Delta 3422, yeah, sliding 330.
330 South 3422.
American 1959, clear direct TAS.
Direct TAS for American 1959.
Delta 1860, radar contact, climb and maintain for level 230, stay altitude.
So you could see there, folks, that sometimes that just happens, but I'll explain kind of how to intercept here. So he's giving us an intercept heading. We're 330 right now. The roommate just walked in. Ah, excuse me. He just walked in. He's going to see this part.
Going to maintain 3000.
3000 South 3422.
American 1959, thanks for the help. Contact Atlanta.
Oh, there we go. Level chain in 3000. And once he turns me onto the localizer here, I'm going to press approach mode is what I'm going to press.
Star 401, contact Atlanta Center 132.907.
So we're a little close now, so I'm going to start slowing a little earlier. I'm going to go to 180 now for my speed.
Center Southwest 3582, ready taxi with Delta, spot 51.
3582, roger, 112 right, taxi via Juliet Hotel.
2 right, Juliet Hotel, Southwest 3582.
And I'm going to help the plane out a little bit here. I'm going to do flaps 10.
The airport is at your 2 o'clock now, about 10 miles. You have it inside.
3422, we have the field in sight.
3422, roger, runway 2 center. To the winds are 35 at 9 are clear to land.
Alright, 2 center clear to land, so that was 3422, and are we cleared the visual approach?
Affirmative, yeah, I got a lot of shiny things here I got to track.
Roger, cleared visual approach, and 2 center clear to land, so that was 3422. Alright, so he gets cleared us for the visual approach. I just press approach mode, again, just to show you guys how this all works. You'll see right here, single channel. That's how you know you're intercepting. Right there. And it will start descending for you right on profile.
1860,
I'm going to put my gear down, and I'm going to slow down to our reference speed, which is 149. Again, everything's happening pretty quickly here, but that's just how it is. So right now I'm not doing anything other than adjusting the speed and putting the gear down. I'm going to start throwing in more flaps because the slower we get, the more lift we're going to need. I'm at flaps 25 right now.
Center tower 2538, ready for departure to right.
38, roger, wind 350 at 9 call runway heading, runway 2 right.
A little windy coming in here, so this should be an interesting landing. Again, right now I'm not doing anything. Remember, it's flying the localizer right now. So if you really wanted to, you could have it auto land for you. This is what they do in the real world too. If it's really foggy, they could do an auto land. The plane literally will land itself. I'm not gonna do the auto land because I want to land the plane, but it can auto land for you if you'd like. I'm going flaps 30. And now I am going to turn my autopilot off. Auto throttle off.
3582, roger, runway 2 right, line of
2 right, line of way, southwest 3582.
And let's land this thing. Utmost focused right now. Bear in mind the center part right there, that diamond, so you can see that purple part to the left of my altitude. That basically is the same thing as my VNAV, almost. That tells me where I should be on the profile, again, since I'm flying the ILS right now, and if I'm high or if I'm low. So right now I'm just a touch high, not too bad. So I'll slow down, pull down the throttles just a little bit, and then put myself back on profile.
Direct Kello, south of 2538.
And you can see we have 2 white, 2 red right now. So now we're starting to get a little low, so we'll speed up a little bit here. It's just a touch windy.
Traffic will be departing the right side. 3582. Wind 350 at 9er. Cloud only heading runway
400, so we're a little low.
Traffic landing on the center.
Silver takeoff runway 2 right southwest 3582.
Focus on our touchdown point. Approaching minimums. That's our reference speed we set there.
Indy Center is offline. You can change to Unicom. Have a good night.
100.
American 820 affirmative. We leave airspace. Indianapolis is offline. So you can
idle
change
thrust.
To Unicom. Have a good night.
Flare.
Over to Unicom, American 820. Have a good night, sir.
There we go. And then we'll go reversers.
Pitch 512, flight level 250, entering your airspace from the north.
Pitch at 512, Center, ident.
Ident 512.
Till 80 knots, just about there, so I'll go idle reverse, and let's make this taxiway right here.
Center southwest 3582, climbing through 2000 over 4.
Southwest 3582, roger, climb maintain flight level 23, 0 radar contact.
Climb maintain 230, southwest 3582.
Nope, looking down at the iPad.
3422 Weapon National. You can taxi the parking via Sierra 7, and Tango 4, and cross 31.
Sierra 07 Tango 4 cross 31 South 3422, thanks. So we're getting Sierra and Sierra 7, so let's make a left here.
Southwest.
And I will clean up when I'm comfortable.
4511 Memphis Center, squawk 6201, identify.
Squawk 6201.
No rush to clean the plane up at all. So we go, we're in the straightaway here now, so let's go flaps up. I will put my speed brake up.
Direct Kellogg, Southwest 3582.
Today would be nice. Turn my auto brake off. It's disarmed, obviously, when you went to manual braking.
Southwest 4511, your radar contact.
I'll turn my landing lights off, turn my strobe light off, and my wing light can come off as well. So he wants us to go Sierra 7, so I'm going to make a right onto Sierra 7 here. Wow, look at this moon right there.
Jet 512, your radar contact. About
that's really cool. And then Tango 4, which is off to my left here.
Southwest 2538, climb and maintain level 320.
And follow Tango 4 all the way straight into the ramp.
Southwest 1860, a major altitude, climb and maintain level 330. You can expect that for the final.
Climb maintain level 330, Southwest 18.
And straight into the ramp here.
Southwest 1133 radio check.
We'll take this one right here. This looks like a pretty... Oh, there's a truck there. Maybe not that one. That's an interesting place to go. So we'll go right here. Straight in here.
Skyline 621 Romeo, are you with me?
Yeah, affirmative, sir. Good evening. Skyline, November 621 Romeo. It's 9,000.
Skyline 621 Romeo, Memphis Center, Roger, Nashville, altimeter 2986.
2986, 21 Romeo, thanks.
Excellent. There we go. Bringing it right in on center line here. Holy cow.
1100, Mr. Roger.
Memphis Center, Southwest 1133, it's what you 370.
That's probably way further than I need to go, but besides the point, right?
Memphis Center, Roger, descended, maintain, level
not horrible.
30.
So this part, God, I forgot. See, look what I said. Even flying it forever, you forget. So what you should have done at that point is had your APU on. As soon as you land, you want to turn your APU on, as long as you don't have a long taxi. But as a good practice, I like to put the APU on right away. So just make sure you put your APU on when you land. Otherwise, you'll see if I want to go turn my engines off right now, I would lose power to everything. So I'm gonna wait for this to fire up here, and then we can go from there. An alternative to this, if I wanted to, is just use ground power. But I'm gonna wait for the APU since that's what you're supposed to do, usually. So we'll start real quick here for us. Alright, there we go. So we'll go right there. You'll notice it switches over, and I will cut the engines. Our engines will shut down. We could turn our lights off, which you should have done a while ago. And seatbelt sign. And that is that. Get a light on here for you can see.
Amazon 89, Memphis Center, Roger Squawk 670.
And that is it. Let me get rid of ATSM here. Alright everyone, so that is how you fly the 737 from, oh, parking wasn't horrible, from start cold and dark to finish at the gate. If you have any questions, leave a comment, and I will do my best to answer them. I'm not sure if I'm going to make this a series, we'll see. I got to see if I'm going to start uploading more to the channel first, and then we'll go from there. Again, any questions, let me know. Be more than happy to answer them. Thank you to ZKC as well as ZME for being online. And that is it. Subscribe. I think you're supposed to say that to people. Yeah, subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.